Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to take probably one of my least favorite bikes in this new update, the GasGas, and try to turn it into something good or at least rideable. This is the 250. It's going to be a process, so let's get her started and try to turn this bike into something good. We're going to start with the gearing and bring it pretty far down, and then if there is an aggressive mapping, gonna turn it on because it's just so bad. And just like that, it's already that much better. Oh my god. I talked about what shorter gearing does in my last video, so if you guys want to go check that out, feel free. We probably still have to do a little bit more work though, and then maybe extend or maybe do something to turn it up just a tad bit more, and then we're gonna have to get it dialed through the whoops here. And yeah, we have a lot of work to do, so we're gonna try this 1250 gearing with the aggressive mapping real quick. What I'm really looking for is just that snap to try to mold this bike into something already. It's still kind of like a stable bike. I'm not going to attempt the quad yet, but I will see. So that's a good sign, the fact that it can make that sort of jump. And then we're going to look at the whoops and like at least try to go full speed. Definitely needs a lot of work in there as well. Has to do with like, you know, just the other stuff on the setup. But for now, the gearing feels fine. I'm still going to try to, you know, put it in a better spot. Oh, wow. It actually made that quad. I was kind of surprised that it made it. So, yeah, we're in a good spot right now. I turned it to 1252 drivetrain, so that made a difference. So I think we'll leave the drivetrain alone for now and then just go over to general and start messing with everything else, because I just wanted the gearing dialed in first. And normally I run 1.2 or 1.24 gallons of fuel. Then at the end of this video, I'll do a full setup tour and I'll do it in the metric system instead of using the American stuff. 20mm front leverage. And since we lightened up the bike, we don't want to go back on the gearing yet, but we're going to see if it did affect the bike. And yes, it already jumps a little bit further, but we'll have to see what it did. I mean, let's try this quad real quick. So it actually did kind of take away from like the power and the traction that you get, but I'd rather you return on that. So I don't know, we'll try to find a happy medium, go like 1.3 or 4 gallons of fuel. We'll try 1.35 and we'll get this triple. There's the quad, and then I'm not going to try the second one, but I like the way that it's feeling so far. And the 1.35 of gas, or 1.35 gallons of gas right now, doing pretty good. And so now we'll just ride the bike around the full track to see if we can find anything wrong with it that we can start messing with in one of the tabs, not suspension but all the others, like with your fork height and offset and everything like that. There are ways you can fix stuff in that little section or category of the bike setup. So we're just going to ride the bike for a few laps here, and then hopefully we can find something to fix. And the whoops, definitely already something needs a lot of work on this bike. So this stuff right here with the geometry in this bike, it already feels like it's got pretty good stability. So I'm actually going to try to lower this and see what it does. So I'll actually lower it like quite a bit to see what the difference is, and then kind of even it out in the end. So what I could tell you so far is it's still nice and stable, which surprises me, but it doesn't help anything in the whoops. But when it comes to like laying it over in these corners and stuff like that, you see how it kind of washes your front right there, how when you hit like flat ground versus the berms, it obviously wiped the front wheel out. And then I'm going to try to hit this, and it's still pretty nice, but I'm going to bring it back up to about 3 or 4 probably. So we'll try 3 right here, and then this will change once we mess with the offset and the rod length. And then the geometry part of the setup, it will also probably change once we get into the suspension part, because that plays a lot into the forks as well. So we'll have to mess around with that even after. And this is my way of making a setup, by the way. This is nobody else. Like, I didn't learn this from anyone. Just how I've made setups in the past. Just kind of fiddle with things. So, you know, back in the same corner, we're going to make sure to keep it lean. See how it didn't wash out there? That's what we're really aiming for. And then just kind of testing it elsewhere, making sure that we're at least decent with this right now. So what we've done, we've turned the fork offset all the way up, and then you see how it's already kind of improved in the whoops here. Oh my god. But I think we're absolutely squatted right now. I could definitely be wrong, but it feels like my front wheels are a lot higher than my back wheels. I just said wheels like there's like more than one on each side. My wheel feels like my front end is way higher than my back end here. So now we'll run it at 24, or well, this is probably where I expect to put it, but this is where we were at when we were just playing. I expect it to be around here, but we're going to try turning it all the way down to 20 and see how that feels. Heading to the first set of whoops here, and it's felt fine up to now, but I don't know if that's going to continue. Now it stays more stable. It stays in a straight line. And then, I don't know, maybe we try 5th gear. Maybe that unlocks something, but not a whole lot going on. Either way seems to work, but I think the other way just feels a little bit more comfortable. So leaning towards that like 24 and higher area, or 23 if we have to. But this doesn't feel bad either, so might have to experiment with this, especially if it keeps us in a straight line in the whoops. And so now we have 24 fork offset. We're gonna try 10 millimeters for fork height, which, yes, we already mess with the fork height, but with the fork offset it changes. So we're gonna just try to dial in maybe a little bit better here as we're gonna go for the quad and make it generally easy. I don't know how confident I would be doing the next quad, plus I don't know where the bike stands right now. So we're testing, I think it's on 7 right now, and it seems to work better for some back end drive through the whoops. And so you could come in and then just go 4th gear, and it seems to work out. I mean, there's some sort of power in the whoops at least now. And now we're gonna bring the fork offset back up to 26, which is the max, by the way, and then we'll start fiddling it from there if it doesn't feel great, and then we'll see how it does when we put it below all the way down to 20. So we're gonna do both ways now. And through the whoops we go. So that was not a good showing, but I feel like there's stuff there, especially if we dial in suspension after this. We'll probably have to change the geometry at the end, but I'm happy with where we're at bike-wise between... Okay, never mind. So now we'll try it at 20. We were just on 26. Try it down at 20 and then try to find that happy medium. And if it just so happens to stay at 24, no problem. And that's, I mean, the ideal situation we've got. And through the whoops we go. And, okay, it feels good, but we've got to test everywhere else. So we're even going to try in 5th gear here. So no, it is a 4th gear type of bike through the whoops, and we're not going to be able to get that there. So we're going to go up over this, and then can't get over that. But this is handling casing well. Now we're going to try to give it the... Okay, that's actually huge. The fact that it stayed up right there is good. So that's why it's good to try different stuff after you make some changes initially, and you don't just keep it, because I think we found what works here, and that's the lower fork offset with the higher fork height. That way we're trying to, I guess, just stabilize the bike right now, and it works the best that way. And, I mean, everything seems pretty even, but we're going to try to just turn it up one at a time until it feels really good. So we're back in our bike setup. We're going to press save, and then we're just going to go up to 21. And then we're going to go try 21. If 21 doesn't feel good, we're going to go try 22, 23, etc. until we find what feels the best. So 21 feels good, but we're seeing a little bit of some struggles here with our fork height and front tucks. So what we're going to do, so it starts at 5. We're going to go back down to 6, and then we're going to try 6 out and see if that evens things out for us. Now, once again, geometry is mostly for the stability of the bike, and then we'll get to suspension for how it like really takes everything. And this already feels a little bit better, but we're going to have to put it through the test here and see if it can really withstand out or withstand some bigger obstacles or bigger challenges, if you will. And it's already getting worse through the whoops, which is not a good sign, but we can always fix that later and just kind of see how it works right now with the rest of the track, because I'm kind of curious how everything else is right now, and I'll worry about whoops through suspension right now. I don't really think we're gonna plan to keep it on the bike. Plus, this bike really isn't prototypically the best bike through the whoops, and there's an issue right there. But that's kind of me just going over the berm. But that is due to the fork height being a little different. So we'll turn it down all the way and then back up and do the process again. Fork height 0. We'll try this one out, and it got through the first whoops just fine. And you can kind of see the drive it carries right now, but I don't know how much that'll stand once we really start to push it, like on these corners right here. And it stays up kind of nice as well, and then it digs in that corner nice. Now here's a big challenge, is jumping into this corner and leaning it over. That is what I had problems with. I'm going to try it again and do it a little bit more realistically, because I was really pushing it there. So here we come into the corner. You want to get the top of it and then come down, and that's fine. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go the outside of this berm here, and then when it hits the flat, we're going to make sure it stays up, and it did. So it does a good job through there. Now we have a decision to make. Now we're going to try to turn it up to about 3, and then we're going to see, because this is kind of the medium, and then we'll see if that feels worse or better, and if not, we'll turn it down, which fork height at 3 is so not what is like typically good. Nope, not a whole lot of goodness from that. So we'll just turn it to 1 and then we'll try this out. I know I said we can mess with the whoops later, but this is kind of a big part of Supercross. And so if we're gonna build a Supercross setup, probably needs to go through whoops fine. And so we're gonna try to get a good baseline till we start suspension, at least for now. But I don't know, the bike feels really weird right now. It's not in a good spot, but I mean, kind of toss it around just fine. It's not like, it's not bad weird, but it's definitely different from my Kawasaki that I'm very used to right now. So very unconventional, but what we've done is turn it to 20 and to 1, and then we're leaving the rod length the same for right now, which we should probably start messing with that soon. And then we're just gonna ride around for 2 or 3 laps on this and see how it feels. Get the quad on the first go, we do, and then just get over that. We should probably try the second quad at some point, just never really think to do it. But I mean, look at this thing through the whoops, especially if we come at it in at a good angle and just kind of soaks it up, and then we could do a good job via suspension through the rest of that instead of just, you know, having it wibble and wobble while we're still getting a good drive. So we'll have to, once again, experiment with suspension like we are right now with this stuff, with the geometry of the bike, and that's not a good sign, the fact that it's not clearing that. But that could just be me and the gearing not really getting along, if you will. Go to the inside here and just try to do my best to get a real feel for the bike. And it's definitely at a lack of power, but like I said, I think it's the gearing that's really getting me right now. It's very bad, and like I said, just not really getting along with the gearing right now. So I'm going to put it up even 1 more, which is not foolish, and then we turn the fork offset up to 26 to try it out. So see how it works through the whoops right here. It's going to go like up, down, up, down, up, down. At least that's how it was through the first one. Second one always gets a little bit more sketchy because I tend to go into the second one faster than the first for some reason. I don't know, maybe because I'm singling through or singling into the berm like that instead of doing anything different. So I don't know where I stand right now. This bike is very confusing and very hard to make good. Second run through the second set of whoops, we'll try to dial it in a little bit better here. That was fine, but it still feels worse than whatever. Now we're going to try to push the bike through the second half of this track, trying to experiment with the front end going down. Oh my god, that actually feels very good. And then once again, third gear through there, land on the outside of the track, that's fine. And then I'm gonna turn around and redo that one. Third gear, hammer it into this, and then get down. So it's tough. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. So we're gonna try 24. I don't know how this will do, but we're gonna try it out. And first run through the whoops, it's definitely, oh man, I've been just stuck here on the geometry for the last probably 20 minutes, and nothing I can really do about it to make it feel good. It's either all the way up or all the way down. It just depends on the track you're riding. This one in particular probably likes it all the way up, but I'm gonna try like 22 again, like the default area. I don't really know where to go right now with this bike. Okay, what I think we're gonna do, we're gonna leave it at this right here. So where it's 21-1, and then we're gonna turn the rod length all the way up, save, and then see how it does. And we'll see what the difference is here. I don't know. I think it's more just for like stability, like coming out of corners and stuff like that. It definitely makes a difference in the whoops. Are you seeing that? And then coming down here, we're not crashing or anything. A lot more stable through the whoops. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. We're up over that. And then we accidentally jumped too far into there, which is kind of a bummer. And then we'll just single into here. Scrubs feel nice. Coming down. Nice. And then we'll try to... Okay, so that seems to be the issue. So when you're jumping to like flat or something, so this corner will really matter. And we'll see how it does. You're like landing like this and it gets down. Okay, I have an idea though. If we lower it, so it was at 156, so we're gonna lower down 2 clicks to 152 and then maybe try to mess with the swing arm at all. That way we can really get more power, but I don't know. That's for after we're done with figuring out a rod length. Now it's not the same drive through the whoops. We're obviously missing out, but that is where suspension comes in. And this has been good experience so far. It's been a good like change. Now we're gonna dip under. Now what if we go third and then scrub on off here, get up over that? That's nice. And then we'll jump into here, kind of keep it lower. So that that seems to be the biggest thing is always in that corner when we're trying to, I guess, raise the bike, either fork offset height or rod length. When we're trying to raise it, it seems to have trouble with that corner in specific. So we'll try again. This time we'll take a more appropriate approach to it, where we're kind of scrubbing in, respecting the corner a little bit more. And I don't know how different that is. And then obviously it stays through there, which is really nice. And almost getting the quad through there is also a nice change. Can't really get that on the Kawasaki. So a lot going right with the bike, but it's still just, there's something off. So I'm actually going to turn the rod length back up to 154, and then I'm going to go test her out, and then I'm going to turn it all the way down to see if it's any better. I doubt it gets better, but you know, you always want to make sure that you're maximizing what you got. Yeah, this feels really good on the 154. So I'm not even going to mess with it, because it just honestly feels a lot better. But what I'm going to do is, you know how I turned the mapping up to aggressive earlier on in the video? I'm going to turn it back down to standard, try this out, and then we'll mess with the swing arm. Coming up to the whoops right now. We'll see if we can get a good drive. I mean, it's fine. Obviously came in there very sideways and not really a whole lot. I'm happy that the bike's staying up right now, though. So it looks like aggressive mapping did actually have something to do with how we were going through the whoops. So might lean like turning it back up to aggressive. But for right now, I think we're just going to keep it down, because honestly it feels good. But if we can't find like suspension or anything like that that really helps us through the whoops, then might turn it back up. But big part of it was we really maximize our gear early. So like right here, I'm almost needing to hit 5th to get through that. So not the most ideal. So see if that would fix it, or see if that would have fixed it, and I don't think it does. So turn it back up to aggressive and keep moving. So we're back up to aggressive, and we'll press save real quick, and then we're going to just turn the swing arm all the way up, see if that, you know, helps anyone or anything. Obviously I don't think this will help much, especially through the whoops, but it's always worth a try. You can always break the game. It's crazy, like when you do something like this, you can really feel like every bike change. And yeah, look at this thing. I mean, not the worst actually, but probably keep it at 4 if we're gonna keep it going at all. And then I'll turn it all the way down and see if any of them significantly helps, and then start messing and ticking and tacking. I'll let you guys know what I come up with at the end. You guys don't need to watch this whole process. We might have something with swing arm 0. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but we might run it out like 1 or 2, maybe even 3. This thing scrubs like no other. And it does feel a little weird. That's why I was talking about turning it up, but it gets through the whoops better with a lower swing arm. You can get the wheel down. Everything just feels like just unorthodox. It does not feel right having swing arm 0 right now. I have like the shortest swing arm, and it kicks you weird. It messes with you. But we're gonna try turning it to like 3 and then 2, and then see if any of those work. Okay, there has been a new development in this setup, something to rejuvenate the process a little bit. Messing with the swing arm and then the rod length really got this bike going. I bet you we can even make that. Okay, we would have made that quad had we actually been online for it. But watch these runs through the whoops here. Even if we go 4th gear, I mean, it's just so controlled. That obviously not a good representation. We'll try 5th through these ones, because I think that might settle better. No, but 4th gear, I mean, honestly, it was amazing. And of course, you know, just wasn't really talking about it, but there's been a huge change here. So we turned the rod length down. It was at 154. It's at 152 now. And then the swing arm, we're going to try it at 1 or at 2. And then we're going to turn the rod length down to 150 and really see if that takes us anywhere. I doubt it would. I don't see why it would take us like to a whole new step, but it's always worth the shot. Here we are coming up and then down 4th gear, drop it, and I mean, it feels fine. I don't think it's better by any means. Yeah, I don't think it's better, but I don't know. We got to keep something, either rod length down or swing arm down. We'll see which one has the bigger, you know, impact in the whoops. So I just ran a 105.2, and that's good. And that was on the 2 and 150. So I think we'll just keep it like this, and then we'll start messing with the suspension now, which always gets a little confusing. But I'm gonna have to go through the whoops a few times and diagnose what's doing bad to fix. So here we are coming up at it, but it's kind of just figuring out what stays up and like down. And what I notice here is the back seems too like hard for the front to really keep up. Now in the second whip section, it's the same sort of thing. So what we're gonna do is harden up the front, or yeah, stiffen up the front, I should say. Changing over to the metric system here, that way we can just kind of see this kind of all by one here. And bump, I want to put that down, preload down to 5. And then did I do anything to the bottom? No. So we're going to try turning down 2 clicks here, and 1 click here, and 1 click on preload, and see how that does. And first run through the whoops since the bike change, and now I don't know, that actually kind of felt a little bit of the same. So we go 3rd gear, and then we're up to 5th, and now what feels... So yeah, it seems like the back is still kind of bucking around back there. So I don't know, we might not soften up the back, but we got to do something to the front to counter that. So I just tried turning the rebound down 2 clicks, and we'll see how that does on the front. I don't like doing it so much to one side and then not touching the other. Normally, yeah, okay, so we're actually going in the back, we're going backwards here. So we're just gonna go down 1 click on bump, and then down here, we're just gonna keep it at 5 and only go down 1 click. Trying this out, we minimized a lot of what we're doing with the front suspension, and hopefully it can keep up a little better with the back, and then obviously we'll have to mess with the back. So no, we're gonna put it back on default and then redo. We're gonna try something absolutely preposterous, is just try to turn everything down so much and then go through the whoops and see how it does with the hardest suspension we can in the back, and see how well that is picked up. Kind of well, actually, to all my surprise here. And now we're gonna do the same to the front and just see how bad it can get before it gets good. 3rd gear, then we hit 4th. And it's getting there, really is. I'm kind of surprised by this whole process here. So it looks like the back just has a little bit more plump to it. I don't really know how else to say it. It like bounces and still bucks around just a tad bit more. So there's something that the back tire's doing a little better, or back end's doing better than the front end. And this is gonna be tough. And through the whoops we go, and yep, we went the wrong way. So I'm gonna have to, so what we did, or what I did, was turn this up and then turn this up like that. Okay, so this is how it was. Now we need to stiffen the back up a little bit. I don't know how we're gonna do, or what we're gonna do to do that. I guess just try that real quick. I don't know how this is gonna be, or how this is gonna do. We'll try it out real quick, obviously. 3rd gear, come down, we go 4th before we get into the whoops, and better a little bit, and then come into the second part, or second set, and there, it's just so it's uneven. At this point, I was literally just going through time after time, looking at every little thing I could do with the suspension to make the whoops better. It was trial and error, and then I actually ended up restarting, redoing, then doing it all over again, and then resetting what I had as a big baseline. And oh my Lanta, it took so very long. I couldn't even tell you guys how long I was there. There's a lot that went into the suspension, all for it to ultimately not end up where I wanted it to be. It just took so long, and I was pretty over it after so many trials and so many errors, restarting everything. I just got sick of it, so kind of stuck with what I got. All right, I think we're finally dialed. I don't know how much more I could do. All right, I've been here. The recording's an hour and 30 minutes long, and the suspension has been a close to an hour long project, I'd say, like probably 50 minutes, and that obviously didn't look beautiful, but I don't care at this point. I don't care even if this bike setup sucks. I really don't. All right, deal with it. If you guys want to use it, use it. If you guys want to try to perfect it. I don't really care. I'm over it. This bike sucks, and yeah, I don't think I'll ever be riding it, so just want to stop spending time on it. But I think I got it to a way better spot than you start with it on, especially on Supercross. And I don't know, the suspension's still a little shoddy, and a lot of that has to do with geometry. So maybe if I want to do this again, I'll do the suspension first, geometry second, then go off that. But other than that, that'll be all for me. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and like, go down, subscribe, and then I'll show you guys the setup real quick. Yeah, almost forgot to do that. So go to your settings, actually, and then go to your miscellaneous tab down here, and then make sure you're on the metric system. Then you're going to go to garage, 5.1, 80, 120 tires, 85, 82, 20 millimeters, suspension, 4.8, 10 clicks, 4 millimeters, 10, 100 millimeters, not 10. Then 45, 16, 1.5, 12, and 3. Drivetrains, 12 and 53, 22, 1, and then 2, 150, and aggressive mapping. Now, once again, this bike, not the best bike you'll ever see, have, or use, but it's definitely something and a fun one, I guess. But yeah, if you guys were looking for something to do, you could try to transform the GasGas into a bike that's good, but I can't, obviously, can't do that. I'm not capable. That'll be all for me. Thanks for watching again. See you guys next time. Deuces.